Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Carlos here. Today I'm going to be making a YouTube video about the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Ban list that just got released. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. I have my phone with me to the side. I'll show you guys that in a second. And I also have the list of forbidden cards that we can go through real quick. I'm just going to give my thoughts on each card, how they affect the game, and do I think they should have been banned or should have not been banned. So we'll get to that in a second. Okay, so to start, we'll go with the ban cards. The first ban card is Eclipse Wyvern. Now, Eclipse Wyvern, I think a lot of us didn't see this coming. A lot of us thought that, you know, Thunder Dragon / the Chaos Dragon deck wouldn't really get touched very hard, and like just none of us really saw what would have actually happened in the ban list. What actually happened in the ban list this time around to actually happen, which is just every deck got decimated. Literally, it's the wild, wild west of Yu-Gi-Oh! No one knows what to do. No one knows what deck's going to be dominant. Just every deck got hit. And so this was the first hit. Obviously, it stops a majority of the Dragon plays. This was really crucial to the Thunder Dragon, Guard Dragon combos, where you would search the Red Eyes Dragon. And so that stops all that. It also just shuts down most not most dragon decks, but it shuts down a lot of the consistency for dragon decks, which really sucks. The next card was the Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche. This card was degenerate. It shouldn't have been in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a little bit unfortunate for Phantom Knight players, because this is an example of a card being abused by every single archetype that can abuse it, besides the actual archetype it was meant to be used in. So unfortunately, it just had to get banned. The fact that you could put up the 2 trap cards in one turn was just ridiculous. You literally gained so much advantage from one card that it really should have been banned. They try to get rid of the rank up magic to stop the Azathoth plays, but obviously this was still seen play, so it got banned. So I think in terms of the forbidden cards, both of those cards were really good calls. Actually, I wouldn't have banned Eclipse Wyvern. I really think if you wanted to if you really wanted to not facilitate the Guard Dragon plays, just limit it to 1, or just keep it at 1. There's really no reason to ban it. I get it's not even a once per turn effect, so it really had to basically get banned. But I wish there was something else we could have done with it. My girlfriend really loves that card, and when she heard it got banned, she was super upset, so that's kind of funny. I think maybe it'll get an errata, making it once per turn eventually, but right now it's banned. So, and like I said, the Phantom Knight card, I think that had to get banned, unfortunately for Phantom Knight players, but it was just used in a whole bunch of other decks that made it really, really good, like Orcus. So that's my thoughts on the forbidden cards. Now we're going to go to the limited cards. First up on the limited card section, you can see right here, we have Altergeist Multifaker. Now this really sucks for Altergeist players. I honestly don't understand why they hit Altergeist, other than the fact that they were trying to hit every deck, and I guess you'll see this further on in the list as I talk, but like they pretty much hit all the really big 5, big 4 decks. So Altergeist was just, I guess if you wanted to hit something, that's fine, but this is a big blow to them. Hopefully, I think they're getting new support in the future, so hopefully, they can do something. I don't see the point of hitting Multifaker, because it's like the best card in a rogue deck, and it wasn't really affecting the format that much. But I guess they did what they had to do. So next we have Black Dragon Collapse Serpent and White Dragon Wyvern Buster, both limited to 1. I put both of them as the same card because they're essentially part of the same combo. This another very, very crucial piece to the Guard Dragon / Chaos Dragon variant of Thunder Dragons. It really hurts the deck. It hurts the consistency. Just being able to loop the Black and White Dragon into each other like over and over and over different turns was just amazing. But now obviously you can only do that one turn. I think the worst thing to happen is if you would open up a multiples of black and white. At least previously you could add the other copy. Now if you open up a black and a white, you're kind of just screwed, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. The next card I want to talk about is personally one of my favorites to get unbanned, or you probably guess what it is Tempest, Dragon Ruler of Storms. Now this is very interesting. I'm a very big fan of the Dragon Rulers. I like the playstyle. I like a lot of things about them. And now that you've taken away so many of the cards that have facilitated just terrible dragon combinations that just built degenerate boards, I think it's a pretty good time to, you know, unban the Dragon Rulers. I know the OCG has had Tempest banned for the longest and hasn't really, or not banned for the longest, but they've had Tempest banned, and so now we do too. My hope is that eventually they unban the rest of the Dragon Rulers, and we can get each of them to at least one, if not to maybe two. I don't see that happening anytime soon, but you never know, and I really do hope they get unbanned, so that was a thumbs up for me. Daigusto Emerald was also unbanned, which is very, very interesting. Daigusto Emerald is a very, very good card for the extra deck, because you could in theory revive a normal Link monster like the Gaia Link monster to jump into a Link 4. So that facilitates some pretty degenerate plays if people can, you know, find a way to use that constantly. Also, it allows you to reuse resources in the graveyard and draw a card, and that's always, you know, valuable in Yu-Gi-Oh. So I'm not, you know, I enjoyed that one coming off the ban list. The next two cards I'm going to do them as one, being those being Salamander Gazelle and Salamander Circle. And I'm not gonna lie, this really hurts the deck. It pretty much, I'm not sure, but I feel like the deck is really close to being unplayable now, because Gazelle was just such a crucial starter card in the deck. It was like the lifeblood of the deck, and now to lose not just 2 copies of Gazelle, but basically another 2. So basically you lost 4 copies, the 2 Gazelles and the 2 Circles. That just really hurts the consistency of the deck. Yeah, you could put in Lady Debug in your deck, which I guess that's fine. But, I mean, like, there's no way to sugarcoat it. That really hurts the deck. I don't see it being a top tier deck in the next format, but, you know, I could be wrong. They still have 1 Gazelle, 1 Lady Debug, 1 Circle, and then they still have 3 Signet Mining. So I guess that's still like 7 copies of Lady Debug that you can get to, which isn't terribly bad. The only problem is Signet Mining is going to get a huge, I feel like it's going to get a huge increase in price because of this news. So yeah, that's definitely not good. Let's see, next we have Sky Striker Mecha Modulus Multi-Roll. Sky Strikers got hit in this list as well. I mean, everything was pretty much hit. I feel like Multi-Roll had to get at least touched, because it facilitated, like, the fact that you couldn't respond to your opponent's spell cards, which just, it meant that once Sky Strikers had enough advantage, they could just literally run over you and just keep reoccurring the advantage. So I guess this puts us, like, slows them down a lot. I still see Sky Strikers being a pretty admirable deck. I actually think they're going to be one of the decks to beat in this format. I see them in around 2 or 1, but I don't know. We'll see. Next, Terraforming and Metaverse. I'll just list them in as one because they essentially do the same thing. These had to get banned. They obviously didn't want to touch Mystic Mine, and obviously that card had to be dealt with some way. So I guess the next best deal is to you know, touch them. They also wanted to hit Trickstar Light Stage, which actually they did. They limited that to 1 as well. But this just really hurts the consistency of Trickstars, and it hurts the consistency of a lot of decks too. I saw people using the Trickstar Light Stage to get the Candina, to add another Trickstar monster, to special summon that monster, just to facilitate degenerate Orcus plays. So I guess you can't really do that anymore. So that's awesome. Now in terms of what I think, in terms of each card, I say that Altergeist Multifaker probably shouldn't have been limited. The Black Dragon and White Dragon, I see why they limited it, but I would have semi-limited them. Gazelle honestly really hurts. I would have just put Gazelle at 1 and stopped there. I really don't see why they had to hit Gazelle and Circle. That really hurts the consistency of the deck, and in my opinion, really knocks it down a tier. Like, if you want it, Salamangreats are a new deck, and I don't see why you're hitting one of the most budget-friendly decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Just a deck that casual players can really play, and players who haven't played in a while to jump into and get it and learn it really easily. I don't see why you're hurting a deck like that, because you obviously want to get new people into the game, and I think this was one of the ways to do it. It kind of sucks. Obviously, I'm a little salty, because my channel is literally named after Salamangreats, and I honestly love the deck and playing it, but it is what it is. So that definitely, I personally would have just, if you're gonna touch Salamangreats, I would have just limited it to 1. But I guess they did what they did, so there's not really a point to limit to moan about it. Like I mentioned already, Tempest, I really enjoyed that one. Nothing really else I can say about it. Multi-role, I understand why they did it. I think that was a good one. Terraforming and Metaverse, I understand why they did it. However, I would have just went after the problematic cards. I would have just, if it's really that big of a deal, I would have just banned Mystic Mindburn and, gotten rid of Light Stage if it's really that big of a deal, or limited to 1, which they did. So I don't understand what's the point of getting rid of Light Stage and Terraforming and Metaverse when you could have just got rid of Light Stage and the other card I was just talking about. The words elude me. Mystic Mindburn. That's Mystic Mind, that's the card. Now we're going to go to the semi-limited list. I have that right here. I really like what they did with this one. First off, Chaos Emperor Dragon, Envoy of the End, is now semi-limited. Ever since it got the errata, it's not particularly good. So not much I can say there. I could see it eventually getting, unlimited completely, but, they limited it to 2, so it is what it is. I quite like that one. Next, the Danger package. Danger Nessie, Danger Jackalope, and Danger Tsuchinoko all got limited to 2. I like what they did there. It really hindered the deck. It takes away 3 copies of Danger cards. I feel like they didn't really go hard enough on it. I know that they're getting reprinted in one of the, I think it's the 2019 tin, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're getting reprinted there, but I'm not sure. So I guess they, they don't want to hit them before they make that money, but I feel like they should have limited each one of them to 1, because they're just super degenerate, and being able to, discard cards and draw cards and just summon cards as at will, pretty much, is just, it's ridiculous. Next, Aether, the Heavenly Monarch. Monarchs don't really have much going for them. Aether was like one of their only things, so you go, girl, go get that Aether. Next, actually, Stratos, which is very interesting. Stratos got unlimited, or not unlimited, limited to 2, which I quite liked. I don't think obviously it's not as good as it was, but with the new Vision Hero support coming out, maybe it'll see some use in that, and definitely Destiny Heroes and just generic hero decks. So I'm very excited to see Stratos get limited to 2. Insector Dragonfly definitely helps Insectors a lot. They're probably going to be a fun rogue deck to play now, because Dragonfly got limited to 2. Limited to 2. Perform Pow Damage Juggler. Not really much to say there. Shuret, Strategist of the Necros. I like this card a lot. Personally, I don't think it was the way to go in terms of Necros cards. I think if you wanted to unban any Necros card, Shuret probably wasn't the way to go. I think that you could have went with just anything else. I personally would have went with Unicorn. I think that's what this deck is really lacking. I think the ability to negate the effects of extra deck monsters is just so valuable that I think that's the card to make Necros competitive again. Not sure, but you know, obviously they won't. They're not going to complain to get Chirrut back. Royal Tribute, not really much to say there. Now for the unlimited, I'm going to just run through this section real quick. Here you can see it. Will Fort Scout, Luster, Pendulum, the Draco Slayer, Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barriers, which is really interesting. Dark Hole, interesting. Monster Gate, Rekindling, finally. Fire Decks reborn. Super Poly to 3, actually, which is very interesting, following the trend of the OCG, and Solemn Judgment to 3. What really strikes me here, Solemn Judgment to 3, one of the best trap cards ever in Yu-Gi-Oh! Obviously, trap cards aren't as good as they once were. They're a lot slower than they... Well, the format's a lot slower, or the format's a lot faster than it once was, so kind of traps have been phased out, but this is one of the best traps ever, and to get it back is obviously amazing. Super Poly, obviously a great side deck card, and main deck card in some decks. Just the ability to fuse your opponent's monsters are just amazing. Dark Hole, that's not really much to say there. Trishula is pretty interesting, kind of hard to make, so I can't really see it becoming a staple again. And that's pretty much it. I really like what they did with the unlimits. So yeah, I give all of those a thumbs up, except maybe Super Poly. I would have maybe left that at 2. Just I think 3s might be a little degenerate, but like you only saw it as a side deck choice at 2. Maybe 3 when isn't gonna absolutely break the format, and I doubt it will. So, anyways, thank you for watching my video. I want to give you guys an update of where the channel's going. Basically, I have a lot of really interesting things planned for this channel. In the next coming days, I'm going to be releasing a new deck profile. I did my Salamangreat deck profile, my budget Salamangreat deck profile. I'm going to be releasing a Battle Wasp deck profile, so that's really interesting. I haven't seen many people doing Battle Wasp, so I'm going to be doing that. I'm also going to be starting a Let's Play, and you guys actually get to pick what Let's Play game we're going to play. So the options are this. We can do the Tag Force series for the PSP, so Yu-Gi-Oh! Tag Force 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then Arc 5 Special, Tag Force Special. We can do the Tag Force series on the PSP, or we can do the World Championship Series on the DS. If we do the World Championship Series, we're going to do 09, 010, 2009, 2010, and 2011, because those are the most recent ones and the most popular ones. So please like the video, leave a comment down below. Which series would you prefer me doing? The PSP Tag Force Series or the DS World Championship Series? So thank you very much for watching the video. Please like, subscribe, and feel free to follow me down below.